I want you to imagine something with me for a moment. Right now, as you listen to my voice, there are radio waves passing through your body. Music, voices, messages, all moving through the air around you. But you cannot hear them. Not until you have a receiver tuned to the right frequency. Money works exactly the same way. It is not hiding from you. It is not being withheld by fate or circumstance. It is broadcasting on a frequency you have not yet learned to receive. And the moment you adjust your inner dial, the moment you align with the spiritual laws that govern supply, everything changes. Not someday, now. Today, I will show you the 5 hidden frequencies that decide how fast your good finds you. You have been lied to about money. Not by bad people, by well-meaning voices who taught you that humility means scarcity, that patience means waiting forever, that faith means hoping blindly while doing nothing. You have been told to be grateful for lack, to accept limitation as spiritual growth, to wait for God to decide when you are ready. And all of that is poverty consciousness dressed in religious language. Here is the truth they did not tell you. Money is not a reward for virtue. It is not doled out by a judgmental God who tests your worthiness. Money is a spiritual substance, governed by exact laws as reliable as gravity, as predictable as sunrise. And the reason most people struggle financially is not because they are unlucky, unskilled, or unworthy. It is because they do not understand the metaphysical laws that govern supply. This is going to be different from everything else you have heard. I am not going to teach you budgeting, side hustles, or positive thinking. I am going to teach you how to align with the invisible source of all supply, how to speak your word with authority, how to dissolve the thought forms of lack that have been running your subconscious for years, and how to move from begging to claiming, from hoping to knowing, from waiting to receiving. This is not theory, this is tested law. I have seen it work in the lives of thousands of people who were broke, in debt, desperate, and defeated, who learned these 5 principles and watched their entire financial reality shift, not through struggle, through alignment, through faith, through the power of the spoken word. If you are tired of living in financial fear, if you are done waiting for permission to prosper, if you are ready to claim your inheritance as a child of the infinite, then stay with me. Because by the end of our time together, you will never look at money the same way again. You will understand that you have been living in a house with all the lights off, stumbling in the dark, when all along there was a switch on the wall. And today, I am going to show you where that switch is. I am going to teach you how to turn on the light of spiritual law, so that you can see clearly the path to your abundance. Let me begin by telling you about a woman who came to me many years ago. She was intelligent, hardworking, and deeply spiritual. She read every book on prosperity. She prayed faithfully, she visualized abundance, she made vision boards, she wrote affirmations. She attended every seminar and workshop she could find. And yet, no matter how much money came into her life, it slipped through her fingers like water. She would receive an unexpected check, and immediately the car would break down. She would get a raise, and within days, a surprise bill would appear. Her refrigerator would stop working. Her roof would start leaking. A family member would need emergency help. It was as if an invisible hand was taking from her the moment she received. She began to believe she was cursed, that God did not want her to have money, that she was meant to struggle. She started to think there was something fundamentally wrong with her, some character flaw, some spiritual deficiency that made her unworthy of wealth. She watched her friends prosper. She saw people with less education, less talent, less dedication, somehow moving ahead while she remained stuck. And the more she compared herself to others, the worse she felt. The worse she felt, the more money seemed to flee from her life. When she sat in my office, I asked her one question. I said, "What do you say when money comes to you?" She looked confused. "What do you mean?" she asked. I said, "When you receive a check, when someone pays you, when unexpected money arrives, what are the first words that come out of your mouth? What thoughts run through your mind in that moment?" She thought for a moment, and then her face changed. She saw it. She said, "I say, oh no, something bad is going to happen now. This never lasts. I better save this because I will need it for an emergency. I wonder what is going to break next. I wonder what bill I forgot about." And then I immediately start calculating what I owe, where I am behind, what disaster is waiting around the corner. There it was. the invisible law at work. She was speaking the word of loss the moment she received. She was impressing her subconscious with fear, lack, and expectation of disaster. And the subconscious, being the faithful servant, went to work immediately to fulfill her spoken decree. You see, the subconscious mind does not have a sense of humor. It does not argue with you. It does not judge whether your words are true or false, helpful or harmful. It simply takes your words as commands and begins to create the experiences that match them. When this woman said, "Something bad is going to happen," her subconscious heard that as an instruction and immediately began to attract the car breakdown, the surprise bill, the financial emergency that would prove her words correct. This is how the law works. Your subconscious is like a garden. Whatever seeds you plant through your words, your thoughts, your dominant feelings will grow. You cannot plant weeds and expect roses. You cannot speak poverty and expect wealth. You cannot dwell on disaster and expect miracles. The law is exact. The law is impersonal. The law does not care about your intentions or your desires. It only responds to what you are actually impressing upon it moment by moment, day by day. I taught her a new word. I said, "From this moment forward, when money comes to you, no matter how small, you will say, 'I give thanks for my immediate and endless supply.' Money comes to me easily and constantly, from expected and unexpected sources, not once, not as a trick, but as a new vibrational frequency, as a reprogramming of the subconscious mind. She did it. At first, it felt false. Her mind resisted. Her old thought forms screamed in protest. Every time she spoke those words, a voice inside her said, "You are lying, you are pretending, this is not real, you are delusional, you are going to be disappointed again. You should be more realistic, you should be preparing for the worst." But she kept speaking the word, she kept declaring the truth, she kept affirming her connection to infinite supply. And within 6 weeks, everything shifted. Money began to come and stay, opportunities appeared, debts dissolved. The invisible hand that had been taking from her was now pouring into her. A client she had not heard from in months called with a large project. She received a refund from her insurance company for an overpayment she did not even know about. A friend paid back a loan she had written off years ago. None of these things happened because she worked harder. None of them happened because she got lucky. They happened because she changed her word. She changed her frequency. She changed her alignment with the law. What changed? Not the economy, not luck, not God's favor. What changed was her word, her frequency, her alignment with the law of increase rather than the law of decrease. This is the first hidden law, and I want you to hear this very clearly. Your word is the wand that commands your supply. If you speak lack, you receive lack. If you speak abundance, you receive abundance. The universe does not care about your intentions. It responds to your vibrations, and your vibrations are shaped by the words you speak. Most people do not realize how destructively they speak about money. They say, "I cannot afford that. Money is so tight right now. I never have enough. I am always broke. Rich people are greedy. I will never get ahead. The system is rigged against me. I was not born into money. I do not have the connections. I do not have the education. I missed my chance. It is too late for me." And then they wonder why they are struggling. But here is what they do not understand. The subconscious mind does not argue. It does not judge. It simply takes your words as commands and works day and night to make them true. When you say, "I cannot afford that," you are not stating a fact. You are creating a fact. You are impressing poverty into your consciousness, and the outer world must reflect it. I remember a man who came to me complaining that he never had money for the things he wanted. Every time he saw something he desired, he would immediately say, "I cannot afford that." It became his automatic response. His wife wanted to take a vacation. "I cannot afford that." His children wanted new clothes. "I cannot afford that." He saw a book he wanted to read. "I cannot afford that." Someone invited him to dinner. "I cannot afford that." And do you know what happened? He created a life where he truly could not afford anything. Because every time he spoke those words, he was declaring to the universe, "I am a person who cannot afford things." And the universe, being law, said, "Very well, let it be done according to your word." The tragic part is that this man actually had more money than he realized. But because his consciousness was saturated with lack, he experienced lack. He hoarded what he had. He lived in constant fear of running out. He denied himself even small pleasures, because he was convinced he could not afford them. And this mentality created a stranglehold on his finances. Money could not flow to him because he was not allowing it to flow through him. He had become a dam instead of a river. And where there is no circulation, there is stagnation. Where there is stagnation, there is decay. I told him, you must stop saying those words immediately. Even if they feel true, even if your bank account is empty, because you are not describing your reality, you are creating it. Instead, when you see something you want, say, I choose not to purchase this right now, but my supply is unlimited. Or say, I am reorganizing my resources, and abundance is flowing to me now. Or simply say nothing at all. But never again speak the words I cannot afford. He looked at me skeptically, but he was desperate enough to try. For 30 days, he guarded his words. Every time the old phrase started to come out of his mouth, he stopped himself. He rephrased. He chose different language. And within those 30 days, 3 things happened. First, he received an unexpected bonus at work. His boss called him into the office and said, we have been reviewing performance, and we realized we have not adequately compensated you for the extra projects you took on last quarter. Here is a bonus check. Second, a friend paid back a loan he had forgotten about. The friend said, I have been carrying guilt about this for 2 years. I finally have the money to pay you back, and I added interest. Third, his wife found a side business opportunity that brought in extra income. She stumbled upon it through a casual conversation at the grocery store. None of these things were coincidences. They were the direct result of changing his word. The moment he stopped declaring lack, the universe stopped delivering lack. The moment he opened the channel with his language, money began to flow. This is the power of your word. This is why I teach my students to guard their words as if their life depends on it, because it does. If you want your financial reality to change, you must change the words you speak. Not someday, now, today, this moment. And here is how you begin. For one day, pay attention to every word you say about money. Write it down if you must. Carry a small notebook with you. Notice how often you speak lack, limitation, and fear. Notice how often you use words like cannot, never, always, stuck, impossible, hard, struggle, broke. Do not judge yourself, just observe. You will be shocked at how much poverty language you use without even realizing it. Most people speak poverty from the moment they wake up. They look at their bills and sigh. They check their bank account and groan. They listen to the news and absorb messages of economic doom. They talk to friends and family and engage in collective commiseration about how hard everything is. Then, create new decrees. Choose 5 statements that reflect the financial reality you desire. Not I hope to have money, not I want to be rich. But present tense. Faith-based declarations such as, I am a channel of infinite supply. Money comes to me easily and constantly. I am rich in consciousness and rich in manifestation. All my needs are met instantly and lavishly. I walk in the abundance of the kingdom now. My supply is endless, immediate, and perfect. The universe is my source, and the universe is unlimited. I am open and receptive to all the wealth life offers me. Money flows to me in avalanches of abundance. All my financial needs are met before I even ask. Speak these words daily. Not as affirmations you hope will work, but as truth you are claiming. Speak them in the morning when you wake. Speak them before you open your wallet. Speak them when fear arises. Speak them when you pay bills. Speak them when you make purchases. Speak them when you see something you desire. Let them become the new language of your soul. Let them become as natural as breathing. Let them replace every old pattern, every old decree, every old limitation that has been running in your subconscious. Now here is the paradox. At first, your words will feel like lies. Your rational mind will scream, but you are not rich. You are broke. Stop pretending. Look at your bank account. Look at your debt. Look at your circumstances. This is foolish. This is denial. This is fantasy. And this is where most people quit. They think, this is not working. I feel foolish. I will stop. But I am telling you that resistance is the old thought form fighting for survival. It is the poverty consciousness that has been running your life, and it does not want to die. Do not stop speaking. Do not let the appearance convince you to abandon your word. Because the moment you persist, the moment you keep declaring truth in the face of the lie, the old thought form begins to crumble. And the new reality begins to form. Your word is not magic, it is law. And law does not fail. If you speak poverty, you will have poverty. If you speak wealth, you will have wealth. The choice, as always, is yours. But understand this. You are speaking something every moment of every day. You are never neutral. You are always impressing something upon your subconscious. You are always broadcasting some frequency into the universe. So the question is not whether you will speak. The question is, what will you speak? Will you speak the old pattern of lack and limitation? Or will you speak the new pattern of abundance and divine supply? Now let me tell you about a man who thought he understood the law of giving. He had read all the books on tithing, on generosity, on sowing and reaping. He believed that if he gave, he would receive. So he gave. He gave when he had money. He gave when he did not have money. He gave until he was broke, exhausted, and resentful, and nothing came back. He gave 10% of his income to his church, even when that 10% was the difference between paying his electric bill or sitting in the dark. He gave money to charities even when he could not afford groceries. He gave to friends and family even when his own needs were not met. He loaned money he could not afford to lose. He helped people who never helped him back. And month after month, year after year, he kept giving, kept sacrificing, kept believing that somehow, someday, the universe would notice his generosity and reward him. But the reward never came. Instead, he sank deeper into debt. His stress increased, his relationships suffered, his health declined. He began to feel used, taken advantage of, like a fool. He came to me angry. He said, "I have done everything right. I have tithed. I have helped others. I have been generous beyond my means. I have given until it hurt. I have sacrificed and sacrificed. Why is God not blessing me? Why is the law not working? What more do I have to do?" I looked at him and asked, "When you give, how do you feel?" He paused. He looked down. He said, "I feel scared. Like I am giving away what I need. Like I am running out. Like I am depleting myself. Like I am sacrificing my own well-being for others. Like I am forcing myself to be spiritual, even though everything in me is screaming to stop." There was the problem. He was giving from fear, not from faith. He was sowing seeds of scarcity, not abundance. And the law does not reward sacrifice, it rewards alignment. You see, giving is not about the act, it is about the consciousness behind the act. When you give from emptiness, you impress the subconscious with the belief that you do not have enough. You reinforce the very lack you are trying to escape. But when you give from fullness, from the knowing that your supply is infinite, that you are a channel of divine abundance, you set into motion the law of circulation. The universe does not want your sacrifice. The universe does not want you to deprive yourself. The universe wants you to give from joy, from overflow, from the knowledge that there is always more where that came from. I told him, "Stop giving. Stop forcing yourself to be generous when your heart is clenched in fear. Instead, begin to feel your supply. Begin to know, with every fiber of your being, that you are connected to the infinite storehouse of the universe, that you are a river, not a reservoir, that what flows through you can never run out." He resisted at first. He thought I was telling him to be selfish. He thought I was contradicting everything he had been taught about generosity and service. But I was not. I was teaching him the second hidden law: you cannot give what you do not vibrationally possess. So he began the inner work. Every morning, he sat in silence and felt the truth. I am a channel of infinite supply. All that the universe has is flowing through me now. I am rich in consciousness, and that richness is now made visible. He stopped giving from obligation. He stopped performing generosity to manipulate the law. He stopped using giving as a way to prove his worth or earn God's approval. And he started giving from overflow. Within 3 months, his business tripled. Not because he gave more money, but because he shifted his frequency. He became a magnet for abundance because he finally believed he was abundant. This is the lesson. The law does not respond to your actions. It responds to your inner state. You can give a fortune and stay broke if you give from fear. You can give $1 and become wealthy if you give from faith. It is not what you do, it is who you are being when you do it. This is what confuses so many people about manifestation. They think it is about taking the right steps, doing the right things, following the right formula. But the universe does not respond to behavior. It responds to vibration, to consciousness, to the frequency you are broadcasting every moment of every day. Let me explain this more deeply. Imagine you are a radio station. You are broadcasting a signal 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That signal is your vibration, your dominant emotional state, your core beliefs, your habitual thoughts, and the universe is like a receiver that picks up your signal and sends back a match. If you are broadcasting fear, you will receive experiences that reinforce fear. If you are broadcasting lack, you will receive lack. If you are broadcasting unworthiness, you will receive situations that make you feel unworthy. It does not matter what you say you want. It only matters what frequency you are sending out. This is why affirmations alone do not work. You can say, "I am wealthy," 1,000 times a day, but if you do not feel wealthy, if your dominant vibration is still fear, scarcity, and survival, you will not attract wealth. Because the universe reads your frequency, not your words. The universe feels your energy, not your intentions. The universe responds to what you are, not what you wish you were. So how do you change your frequency? How do you shift from poverty consciousness to prosperity consciousness? You must begin to feel your wealth before you see it. This is not pretending. This is not faking it until you make it. This is a spiritual practice of embodying the consciousness of abundance. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine that you already have everything you desire. Feel the relief. Feel the freedom. Feel the gratitude. Let that feeling saturate your body. Let it become your new baseline. Do not just visualize the money in your bank account. Feel what it would feel like to never worry about money again. Feel what it would feel like to walk into a store and buy what you want without checking the price. Feel what it would feel like to help someone in need without calculating whether you can afford it. Let that feeling fill you up until it becomes more real than your current circumstances. Then, act from abundance, not toward it. Most people act from lack. They hoard. They save obsessively. They say no to every invitation because they cannot afford it. They deny themselves small pleasures to protect their meager resources. But every time you act from lack, you reinforce lack. Every time you choose from fear, you strengthen fear. Instead, ask yourself, what would I do if I already had plenty? Would you give generously? Would you invest in yourself? Would you take the taxi instead of walking in the rain to save $2? Would you buy the organic vegetables instead of the cheaper ones? Would you get yourself a nice cup of coffee instead of the cheapest option? Do that thing. Act as if your supply is already here. Because in the invisible, it is. Surround yourself with abundance cues. Go into the stores that sell what you desire. Try on the clothes. Sit in the cars. Walk through the houses. Not to torture yourself, but to familiarize your consciousness with abundance. To show your subconscious, this is my world, I belong here. The more comfortable you are with wealth, the more you will attract it. I remember a woman who wanted to attract prosperity, but she felt uncomfortable around wealthy people. She felt like she did not belong. She felt intimidated, inferior, like an outsider looking in. So I told her, go to the finest hotel in your city, walk through the lobby, sit in the lounge, order a tea. Let yourself be in that environment. Let your consciousness adjust to that frequency. She did it, and at first, she felt terrified. She felt like an imposter, like someone would point at her and say, "You do not belong here. Who do you think you are?" She felt self-conscious about her clothes, her appearance, the fact that she was only ordering tea while others were having expensive meals. But she kept going. Week after week, she sat in that hotel lobby, sipping her tea, breathing in the energy of wealth, and something began to shift inside her. She started to feel like she belonged. She started to feel like wealth was natural, normal, accessible. She started to look at wealthy people, not with envy or intimidation, but with recognition. She started to think, I am like them. I belong in this world. And within 6 months, her income doubled. Not because sitting in a hotel lobby made her rich, but because it changed her consciousness. It changed her frequency. And the universe responded to that new frequency. Now let me address the objection I always hear. But Florence, I do not have money to act abundant. I cannot afford to give or spend or pretend I am rich. I am barely making ends meet. I have bills I cannot pay. I have debt collectors calling me. I am living paycheck to paycheck. How can I act abundant when I am broke? And I say to you, you are thinking from the appearance. You are letting the outer world dictate your inner state. But the whole point of this law is to reverse that. To let your inner state dictate the outer world. You do not need money to feel wealthy. Wealth is a consciousness. It is the knowing that you are connected to infinite supply, that you are a child of the universe, and everything you need is already provided. When you know that when you live from that truth, the money follows. Not because you faked it, because you aligned with it. This is the secret the wealthy know, and the poor do not. Prosperity is an inside job. If you are vibrating abundance, the outer world has no choice but to reflect it. If you are vibrating lack, no amount of hard work will set you free. Change your frequency, change your life. Let me tell you about time. Most people believe that manifestation takes time, that you plant a seed and then you wait months or years for it to grow, that there is a gap between desire and fulfillment, and you must endure that gap with patience and hope. They look at their current circumstances and think, it will take years to get out of this debt. It will take years to build my business. It will take years to save enough money. It will take years to change my life. But I am going to tell you something that will shatter that belief. In the spiritual realm, there is no time. Your supply already exists. The money you desire is not being created in the future. It is already here, in the invisible, waiting for you to align with it. The only thing standing between you and your manifestation is your consciousness. Let me illustrate with a story. A student of mine needed $10,000. She needed it for a medical procedure that could not wait. She had no savings, no credit, no obvious source. She had already asked family and been turned down. She had already applied for loans and been denied. She had already looked at every possible avenue and found nothing. She came to me in despair, and I said, the money is already here. You are simply not vibrating at the frequency that allows you to see it. She did not understand. How can it be here if I do not have it? She asked. How can it exist if I cannot see it? How can you tell me it is already here when my bank account is empty? I explained. In the fourth dimension, the realm of divine ideas, all things are perfect and complete. Your $10,000 exists there now. It exists as a spiritual reality, a divine idea, a perfect form in the mind of God. But you are living in the third dimension, the world of appearance, where everything seems solid and fixed. To bring the invisible into the visible, you must live suspended in the moment. You must act as if the money is already yours. You must feel it. You must know it. You must claim it with every fiber of your being. She asked, how do I do that? How do I claim something I cannot see? How do I believe something that contradicts everything my senses are telling me? I said, prepare for it. Make space for it. Thank God for it as if it has already arrived. Do not look for it in the external world. Look for it in your consciousness. And when your inner knowing matches the reality of the invisible, the outer world will rearrange itself to reflect that knowing. She went home and did something audacious. She wrote a thank you note to the universe. She wrote, thank you for my $10,000. I receive it now with joy and gratitude. She placed it on her altar. She read it every morning. She read it every night. And every time fear came, every time doubt whispered, you are delusional, this is not real, you are being foolish. She spoke the word, I am not waiting for my supply. I am receiving it now. Within 2 weeks, a distant relative she had not spoken to in years reached out. He had been thinking about her, he said, and felt moved to help. He had recently come into some money and wanted to share it. He sent her $10,000. Was it magic? No, it was law. The third hidden law. Time is an illusion in the realm of spirit. Your good is not coming, it is already here. The moment you stop waiting and start claiming, the invisible becomes visible. Not because you forced it, because you aligned with it. Now, I want to be very clear about something. When I say your good is already here, I do not mean you should sit on your couch and do nothing. I do not mean you should ignore practical responsibilities or refuse to take action. What I mean is this. There is an invisible substance, a spiritual reality, where all things exist in perfect form. Your ideal life, your perfect supply, your divine plan, it is all there, complete and whole. But for it to manifest in the physical world, you must bring your consciousness into alignment with it. You must believe it exists. You must feel it as real. You must act as if it is already on its way. This is what confuses people about divine timing. They think divine timing means delay. They think it means God is making them wait, testing their patience, teaching them a lesson. But divine timing does not mean delay, it means perfect orchestration. It means that there is an invisible intelligence arranging all the pieces, the people, the circumstances, the opportunities, so that when everything is aligned, your manifestation appears, effortlessly. Not a moment too soon, not a moment too late, but exactly when it is meant to. I will give you an example. A woman came to me desperate for a new home. She had been looking for 2 years. Every house she found was either too expensive, in the wrong location, or fell through at the last minute. She made offers that were rejected. She found perfect houses that sold to other buyers. She saw listings that were gone by the time she called. She was exhausted. She felt like God was denying her. She said, "Why is this taking so long? What am I doing wrong? I have been praying. I have been visualizing. I have been looking. Why can I not find my home?" I said, "You are doing nothing wrong. Your home is being prepared. Trust the process." She did not want to hear that. She wanted a house now. She wanted to control the timeline. She wanted to know exactly when and how it would happen. But I told her to stop forcing, to stop searching frantically, to release the how and the when to infinite intelligence. And I gave her a statement to repeat. My perfect home is being prepared for me now under grace. When the time is right, it will appear, and I will know it instantly. Everything is working out in divine order. The perfect place at the perfect price is coming to me now. She reluctantly agreed. And within 3 weeks, a house appeared that was not even on the market. A friend of a friend mentioned it in passing. She said, "My uncle is thinking about selling his house, but he has not listed it yet. Would you want to see it?" She went to see it, and it was everything she had envisioned. Better location, better price, better energy. And when she asked the seller why he was selling, he said, "I just felt it was time. I woke up one morning and knew this house was meant for someone else. I have been feeling it for weeks. And then your name came up, and I knew you were the one." That is divine timing. The seller was not ready 2 years ago. The house was not available 2 years ago. But the moment everything aligned, the moment her consciousness matched the vibration of her desire, the moment the seller received his inner knowing, the moment the connection was made, the invisible hand moved, and the door opened. This is what most people do not understand. When you are desperately seeking, you are vibrating lack. You are broadcasting, "I do not have it, I need it. I am incomplete without it," and that vibration repels your good. But when you release the outcome, when you trust that the infinite intelligence knows the perfect way and the perfect time, you stop blocking the flow, you get out of the way, and the manifestation comes swiftly. So stop pushing. If you have been striving, manipulating, forcing, scheming, stop. Take a breath. Acknowledge that you do not know the way, but God does. Infinite intelligence does. And it is already working on your behalf. Speak the word of perfect timing. Say, "I trust divine timing. My good is being prepared now. When the time is right, all doors will open, and I will move forward effortlessly. Everything I need is coming to me in the perfect way at the perfect time. I release all anxiety about when and how. I trust the invisible hand of spirit to orchestrate everything perfectly." Look for signs of movement. Divine timing does not mean nothing is happening. It means things are happening in the invisible. So stay alert. Notice the synchronicities. Notice the small shifts. Notice the unexpected conversations. Notice the thoughts that come to you out of nowhere. Notice the people who suddenly appear in your life. Notice the opportunities that show up when you least expect them. These are signals that your manifestation is forming. These are signs that the invisible is becoming visible. And here is the final piece of this law. The piece that changes everything. You do not need to see the whole path. You only need to take the next step. Most people paralyze themselves because they want to know how it will all work out. They want a guarantee. They want a map. They want to see the entire journey before they take the first step. But faith does not work that way. Faith is taking one step in the dark, trusting that the next step will be revealed, and it always is. So stop demanding to know when, stop asking how, stop needing to understand the entire process. Just trust, just align, just surrender, and watch how quickly the universe moves when you finally get out of the way. Now let me teach you about the law of non-resistance, and this is one of the most powerful and most misunderstood principles in all of metaphysics. The law is this: what you resist persists. What you fight against, you strengthen. What you try to escape, you magnetize. Most people are shocked when they hear this. They say, "But I hate being poor, I hate my debt, I hate my situation. I hate struggling. Are you telling me I should just accept it? Are you telling me I should be okay with lack?" No, I am not telling you to accept limitation. I am telling you to stop giving it power. Because every time you resist, every time you complain, every time you focus your attention on what you do not want, you are feeding that reality. You are impressing it deeper into your subconscious. And you are ensuring it stays in your life. Let me illustrate with a story. A man owed $15,000 in credit card debt. He hated it. He thought about it constantly. He woke up stressed. He went to bed anxious. He avoided looking at his statements because they made him feel sick. Every conversation with his wife ended in arguments about money. He was drowning in resistance. And guess what happened? His debt grew. Not because he was barely spending anything. He was living like a monk, denying himself everything, trying desperately to pay it down. But because the more he resisted, the more he attracted situations that reinforced his lack. Unexpected bills, car repairs, medical expenses, his water heater broke, his computer died, his dog needed emergency surgery. It was as if the universe was conspiring to keep him in debt. When he came to me, I said, "You are fighting your debt. And in fighting it, you are making it stronger." He said, "What am I supposed to do? Ignore it? Just pretend it does not exist?" I said, "No, you are supposed to bless it." He looked at me like I was insane. Bless my debt? Bless the thing that is ruining my life? Bless the thing that keeps me up at night? Bless the thing that is destroying my marriage? But I explained, every time you look at your debt with hatred, you send negative energy into it. You reinforce the belief that you are trapped. You strengthen the vibration of lack. But if you can shift your perspective, if you can look at that debt and say, "Thank you for teaching me. Thank you for showing me where I need to grow. I release you with love, and I now call in my abundant supply," you dissolve the resistance. You free the energy, and you allow the law to work. He did not believe me, but he was willing to try. For 30 days, every time he thought about his debt, he said, "I bless this situation. I give thanks for my immediate and abundant supply. The money to clear this debt is on its way now. I release all fear and resistance. I am free." At first, it felt absurd. It felt like lying. It felt like spiritual bypassing. But then something shifted. He stopped waking up in fear. He stopped arguing with his wife. He felt lighter. He felt more at peace. And within 2 months, he received an unexpected inheritance from a distant relative he barely knew. $15,000. Exactly the amount he owed. This is the law of non-resistance in action. When you stop fighting, the universe stops fighting back. When you release with love, the thing you are clinging to dissolves. Now let me be clear. Non-resistance is not passivity. It is not apathy. It is not giving up. Non-resistance is a powerful spiritual stance that says, "I am not moved by appearances. I do not fear this situation. I know that in the invisible, all is well, and I trust the infinite to restore order in the visible." I want to tell you a story about a man who hated his job. Every day, he woke with dread. He despised his boss, resented his coworkers, and counted the hours until he could leave. He dreamed of quitting, of starting his own business, of being free. But he was trapped, he thought, by bills and responsibilities. He had to stay. He had no choice. He came to me and said, "I am stuck. I cannot leave this job. I need the money. But every day I am there. I feel like I am dying inside. I feel like my soul is being crushed. I feel like I am wasting my life." I asked him, "What do you say about your job when you are at home?" He said, "I complain. I vent to my wife. I tell my friends how much I hate it. I rehearse everything my boss did wrong. I imagine all the ways I would run the company if I were in charge. I obsess over every slight, every unfair decision, every moment of disrespect. I said, then you are keeping yourself there. He looked stunned. What do you mean? I want to leave. I explained, what you resent, you magnetize. What you speak about constantly, you strengthen. Every time you complain about your job, you send energy into it. You feed it with your attention, your emotion, your word. And the subconscious, interpreting your focus as desire, works tirelessly to keep you exactly where you are. This is the fourth hidden law, and it is one of the most misunderstood. Resentment is a form of bondage. When you hate something, you chain yourself to it. When you fight against your circumstances, you give them power over you. The only way to be free is to become spiritually indifferent, to withdraw your emotional investment, to stop feeding the situation with your attention. I told him, stop talking about your job, stop complaining. Stop rehearsing injustice. Instead, bless your job. Thank it for providing for you while you prepare for your next step. Send goodwill to your boss, your coworkers, the entire situation. And then begin to speak your word for your right work, the work that is yours by divine design, where you express your gifts fully and are abundantly compensated. He thought I was insane, but he was desperate enough to try. For 1 month, he stopped complaining. Every time he felt resentment rise, he said, I bless this situation. I give thanks for my supply. I now move into my perfect work under grace and in a perfect way. My right work is revealed to me now. I am guided to the perfect place where my talents are valued and I am abundantly rewarded. Within 5 weeks, he received a job offer. Not from applying, not from networking. A headhunter found him through a connection he had forgotten existed. The new job was everything he had dreamed of: better pay, better environment, work he loved. And the moment he accepted the offer, his old boss, whom he had resented for years, congratulated him and said, I always knew you were meant for bigger things. I am happy to see you moving on to where you truly belong. What happened? The moment he stopped resisting, the universe stopped resisting him. The moment he withdrew his energy from resentment, he freed the law to work on his behalf. This is the great secret. Your outer world is a mirror of your consciousness. If you want to change your circumstances, do not fight them. Change your inner state. Bless what you want to leave, release it with love. And watch how quickly the invisible hand of spirit rearranges everything to match your new vibration. So here is how you practice non-resistance. Identify what you are resisting. Is it debt? Is it your job? Is it a person? Is it a circumstance? Is it your current living situation? Is it your health? Is it a relationship? Name it. Be honest. Then bless it. This is not about pretending it is good. This is about withdrawing your emotional charge. Say, I bless this situation, I release all resistance. I now move forward in peace. Redirect your focus. Stop talking about what you do not want. Stop rehearsing the problem. Instead, speak about what you do want. Keep your attention on the solution, not the situation. And here is the paradox. The moment you stop fighting something, it often disappears. Not because you forced it to leave, but because you stopped feeding it with your energy. The fifth and final law is the law of preparation, and it is the most practical. The law is this: if you want to receive your good, you must prepare for it. You must make space for it. You must act as if it is already on its way, because true faith is always active. It is never passive. It does not sit and wait. It prepares. In the Bible, there is a story about a king who told his people, dig ditches. There is no rain. There is no wind. But by tomorrow, this valley will be filled with water. The people did not understand, but they obeyed. They dug ditches all night long. And in the morning, water appeared from an unexpected source, filling every ditch they had dug. That is the law of preparation. You dig the ditches before you see the rain. You set the table before the guests arrive. You make space before the thing manifests, because preparation is proof of faith, and faith always precedes form. Let me tell you about a woman who wanted a new car. She could not afford one. She had no savings, no credit, no obvious way to get it. But she believed in the law, so she did something audacious. She cleared out her garage. She made space for the car she did not yet have. Every day, she walked into that empty garage and said, "Thank you for my beautiful new car. It is on its way now. I see it here. I feel the keys in my hand. I smell the new car smell. I feel the joy of driving it. Thank you, thank you, thank you." Her friends thought she was delusional. "Why are you cleaning your garage? You do not even have a car. Why are you wasting your time? Why are you setting yourself up for disappointment?" But she did not care. She knew the law, and within 6 weeks, a family member she had not heard from in years called and said, "I am buying a new car. Do you want my old one? I will give it to you for free." That is not coincidence. That is law. The moment she prepared, the moment she acted in faith, the invisible forces began to move. The universe said, "She is ready. Send her the car." This is what most people do not do. They want their good to appear first. They want proof before they believe. But that is backward. In spiritual law, you must believe first. You must act first. You must prepare first. And then the thing appears. So here is how you apply the law of preparation. Create physical space. If you want money, clean out your wallet. Organize your finances. Make space for abundance to flow. If you want a relationship, clear out the side of the closet for your partner. If you want a new job, prepare your resume. Act as if it is already yours. Speak as if it is done. Do not say, "I hope to get this." Say, "Thank you for this. It is mine now." Live in the feeling of already having it. Take one concrete action. Even if it seems illogical. Even if your rational mind resists, do one thing today that demonstrates your faith. Buy the notebook for your new business. Research the neighborhood where you will live. Visit the store where you will buy your new clothes. Every action is a signal to the universe, "I am ready." And here is what will happen. The moment you prepare, the universe responds. Not because you manipulated it, but because you aligned with it. You stopped waiting, you stopped doubting. And you started claiming. This is the law. He who is ready to receive, receives. He who waits for proof, waits forever. Now we come to the most important part. Application. Because knowledge without action is useless. You can know every law in the universe, but if you do not apply them, your life will not change. So I am going to give you a simple, practical, step-by-step process to begin aligning with these 5 laws today. For the next 7 days, I want you to go on a word fast. Not a fast from food, a fast from negative words about money. For 7 days, you are not allowed to say, "I cannot afford that, I am broke, money is tight, I never have enough," or any variation of lack language. This will be harder than you think. You will catch yourself mid-sentence. You will realize how often you speak poverty without even noticing. But every time you catch yourself, stop, rephrase. Replace the lack statement with a truth statement. Instead of "I cannot afford that," say, "I choose not to buy that right now, but my supply is unlimited." Instead of "I am broke," say, "I am currently reorganizing my finances, and abundance is on its way." At the end of 7 days, you will have reprogrammed your subconscious. You will have broken the habit of speaking lack. And you will notice that your financial reality begins to shift not because of magic, but because you stopped feeding the problem with your words. Get a notebook. Title it, "Evidence of My Abundant Supply." Every day, for the next 30 days, write down 3 things that prove you are taken care of. It can be anything. A friend bought you coffee. You found $1 on the street. You received an unexpected refund. Someone gave you a compliment. You had food, shelter, clothing. The sun shone. A stranger smiled at you. You found a parking space. The point is to train your mind to see abundance instead of lack. Most people are so focused on what they do not have that they miss all the evidence of what they do have. And the more you notice abundance, the more abundance you attract. This is not gratitude for its own sake. This is reprogramming. This is teaching your subconscious that you live in a rich universe. And the subconscious, once convinced, will begin to create more evidence to support that belief. Every morning, before you get out of bed, and every night before you fall asleep, spend 5 minutes visualizing your life as if money is no object. Do not visualize piles of cash that is too abstract. Visualize the experiences that money would give you. See yourself walking into a store and buying what you want without checking the price. See yourself paying off your debt and feeling the relief. See yourself helping others generously. See yourself living in the home you desire. Feel it. Let it become real in your imagination. Why does this work? Because your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between a real experience and a vividly imagined one. When you feel the feeling of abundance, you impress that frequency into your consciousness. And what you impress, you express. Do not rush this. Do not make it a chore. Let it be a moment of joy, of relief, of freedom. Let yourself feel what it is like to be financially free. And then carry that feeling with you throughout the day. This is the practice of non-resistance. Every day for the next 30 days, I want you to bless the thing you most resent about your financial situation. If you hate your debt, bless it. If you resent your job, bless it. If you are angry at someone who owes you money, bless them. Say out loud, I bless this situation. I release all resistance. I send goodwill to everyone involved. I now move forward in peace and prosperity. You will resist this practice. Your ego will scream, but do it anyway. Because the moment you stop fighting, the situation loses its power over you. And the moment it loses power, it dissolves. Finally, take one concrete action this week that demonstrates your faith in your coming abundance. It can be small, it can be symbolic, but it must be something that makes you feel like you are already living in prosperity. Maybe you buy a new wallet. Maybe you open a savings account, even if you only put $1 in it. Maybe you donate to a cause you care about. Maybe you treat yourself to something small that makes you feel abundant. A nice coffee, a bouquet of flowers, a book. The amount does not matter, the action matters. Because every time you act from abundance, you reinforce the belief that you are abundant. And belief creates reality. So let me bring this all together. You have been taught that money is hard to get, that you must work yourself to the bone, sacrifice, struggle, and hope that someday, if you are lucky, you will have enough. But I am here to tell you, that is a lie. That is poverty consciousness dressed in virtue. That is fear pretending to be humility. The truth is this: money is a spiritual substance. It flows according to exact laws that do not care about your education, your background, your past mistakes, or your current circumstances. These laws respond to one thing and one thing only: your consciousness, your vibration, your word, your faith. And the 5 laws I have given you today are not suggestions, they are not theories. They are the keys to the invisible kingdom where all supply exists. Use them. Speak your word with authority. Align your vibration with abundance. Trust divine timing. Release all resistance. And prepare for your good as if it is already on the way. Because it is. Right now, in this moment, your supply is being formed in the invisible. It is moving toward you. It is orchestrating itself through people, events, and opportunities you cannot yet see. And the moment you claim it, the moment you stop begging and start commanding, it will appear in the visible faster than you ever imagined possible. So here is my final word to you, and I want you to say it with me. Say it out loud, right now, as if your life depends on it, because it does. I am a child of the infinite. All that the kingdom affords is mine. I do not beg for my supply, I claim it. I do not wait for permission, I step into my inheritance. I am rich in consciousness, and that richness is now made visible. Money comes to me easily, constantly, and abundantly from expected and unexpected sources. I walk in prosperity. I speak with authority, and I give thanks that it is done, now and forevermore. Amen. Now, if this message resonated with you, if something inside you woke up and said, yes, this is true, then I invite you to let me know. Leave a comment below telling me which law spoke to you most deeply. Was it the law of the spoken word? The law of vibrational alignment? The law of divine timing? The law of non-resistance? Or the law of preparation? Tell me which one you need to work on most in your life right now. Hit the like button so more people can find this message. And subscribe to this channel, because I will continue to teach you the invisible laws that set you free. You are not broken, you have just been misled. And now, you know the truth. Go and live it.